Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Krsna book, 87th chapter, Prayers by the Personified Vedas. So we are continuing with Prabhupada's purport, where he says, Shri Narottam Das Thakur has sung that persons who do not take to the devotion service of the Lord, but are attracted to the process of philosophical speculation and fruitive activities, drink the poisonous results of such actions. Why poisonous results? Why Narottam Das Thakur went to that extent? That philosophical speculation, which is Gyan, and fruitive activities, Karmakand, poisonous effects. Poisonous in the sense because it doesn't take us to the nectar of devotion service. That nectar that can liberate us, free us from this bondage. That's why he says, Karmakand, Jnanakand, Keval Vishera Bhand. It's only poisonous. Such persons eat all kinds of obnoxious things, such as meat, and take pleasure in alcohol and other intoxicants. And after that, they're forced to take birth in lower species of life. And that's also poisonous. Poisonous. Of course, the soul cannot die. The soul does not die. But first of all, it does not make progress towards us on the spiritual path. So which is basically is a death, because it just keeps on rotating here. And Prabhupada said it goes into the lower species of life, which is even worse for a soul to do. Materialistic persons generally worship the transient means a temporary material body, and forget the welfare of the spirit soul within the body. And that is true. They don't care for the soul. For them, eat, drink, and be merry. That's the goal of life. Some take shelter of materialistic science to improve bodily comforts. And some take to the worship of demigods to be promoted to the heavenly planets. So materialistic science, what exactly materialistic science does? Nothing but to improve bodily comforts. Whether it is AC, whether it is fast cars, electric cars, or different types of weapons. So the weapons are there. Don't come to my country and don't disturb my bodily comfort. But I can come to your country and all sorts of things, and other materialistic inventions, basically to improve bodily comfort. But does it really improve bodily comfort? Because the bodies are getting more and more diseased. Earlier, when life was simple, Vedic lifestyle, bodies were healthy. We can see it from our lifetime. Our grandfather, our father, they were much more healthy than what we are at the same age. We got all sorts of diseases because we are so much used to this bodily comfort. But at the same time, they forget the interest of the spirit soul. That's another problem. And when the life was simple, people had more time for spiritual activities. They were not glued to internet and mobile and TV and computer and all this stuff. They were not glued to that. They had more time for spiritual activities. But the materialistic science, and until now we keep up with all these materialistic inventions, we are considered, oh, you guys are backwards. So we don't want to get too much into this material rat race, but at the same time, you got to keep up with all these inventions. Such persons are described in the Vedic literature as suicidal because attachment for the material body and its comforts forces the living entity to wander through the process of birth and death perpetually and suffer the material pangs as a matter of course. So when we wander through this process of birth and death perpetually means again and again and again and again. And this birth in the material world or life in the material world is nothing but miserable. Everybody has to go through these sufferings, birth, old age, disease, death, adidavik, adibhautik, adhyatmik, klesha. Everybody can't run away from this. The human form of life is a chance for one to understand his position. But human form of life, we do what? To dovetail into more and more and more and more materialistic inventions and more try to make this life more materially comfortable. There's no, I mean, of course, in ISKCON, we always regard the sadhus and we respect them. But if you look at outside world, they don't care. Only thing is how much money I have made today and how much more I'm going to make tomorrow and how many people follow me on Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp and this and that on LinkedIn. That's all. And see how great I am. Everybody is doing that. And that's it. This is the life. Spiritual life is, Krsna dapi shuni chena. Got to be more humble than a blade of grass. Materialistic life is, I got to be boss of the boss of the boss of the boss. Here, I'm das of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Completely opposite. Completely. And any gathering you go to, any party you go to, even among relatives, how much money you got and how many properties you have and how good this and I went to this vacation and I did this, I spent this much money there and I bought this car and I have this much of gold. I don't know how many people really tell how much gold they have. And these are my clothes and such nice clothes. This is my house. And that's all. That's all the conversation is. What's the use? Because once we have some property or some opulence, until we show it off to others, it will not give me satisfaction. And by showing it off to others, chances are 99.99% chances are people will become envious of me. They'll not send positive vibes. They'll always send negative vibes. So what's the point? What are we trying to do? And becoming a devotee and then trying to fit in that kind of society, it's really, really difficult. But then you realize what mercy Prabhupada has on us, and then you look at everybody, what are they talking about? What's the use? And then you really thank Prabhupada and Krishna and the devotees. Therefore, the most intelligent person takes to devotional service just to engage his mind, senses, and body in the service of the Lord without deviation. That's the most intelligent person who does that. Other than that, everybody has engaged their mind, senses, and body in the service of themselves. That's all. The personified Vedas continued. Dear Lord, there are many mystic yogis who are very learned and deliberate in achieving the highest perfection of life. They engage themselves in the yogic process of controlling the life airs within the body. Concentrating the mind upon the form of Vishnu and controlling the senses very rigidly, they practice the yoga system. But even after much laborious austerity, penance, and regulation, they achieve the same destination as persons inimical towards you. Just like when Krishna killed all these demons in Vrindavan, or when he killed, of course, Shishupal, Dantarakura special cases, but other demons when Krishna killed, they all merged in his body. And the yogis also do the same. They merge in Brahmjyoti. They want to stay in Brahmjyoti. In other words, both the yogis and the great, wise, philosophical speculators ultimately attain the impersonal Brahman effulgence, which is automatically attained by the demons who are regular enemies of the Lord. Demons like Kansa, Shishupal, and Dantavakra attain the Brahman effulgence because they constantly meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead out of enmity, not out of love. The real point is to concentrate the mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Women such as the gopis were attached to Krishna, being captivated by his beauty, and their mental concentration on Krishna was provoked by lust. They wanted to be embraced by the arms of Krishna, which resemble the beautiful round shape of a snake. Of course, they are not poisonous, it's just the shape of the arms are described like that. Similarly, we, the Vedic hymns, we means the personified Vedas are saying, the Vedic hymns simply concentrate our minds on the lotus feet of your Lordship. Women like the gopis concentrate upon you under the dictation of lust, and we concentrate upon your lotus feet to go back home, back to Godhead. Your enemies also concentrate upon you, thinking always of how to kill you. And yogis undertake great penances and austerities just to attain your impersonal effulgence. All these different persons, although concentrating their minds in different ways, achieve spiritual perfection according to their different perspectives, because you, O Lord, are equal to all your devotees. Lord Krishna, he says, Ye yathamam prapadyante. As one approaches me, I reward him accordingly. So yogis want to merge in Brahmjyoti, so be it. It's your call. Vedas, they are concentrating or they are meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So they'll get that as a destination. Gopis, they have their own right on Krishna's conjugal love. So this is what their concentration is on. So that's what they get. Sridhar Swami has composed a nice verse in this regard. My dear Lord, to be engaged always in thinking of your lotus feet is very difficult. It's possible for great devotees who have already achieved love for you and are engaged in transcendental loving service. My dear Lord, I wish that my mind may also be fixed somehow or other on your lotus feet, at least for some time. So this is the beauty of devotees. They say, I'm not capable. I need your mercy. I need your complete mercy. And you, I wish that you please engage me in your service. Mahaprabhu also said, Ai Nandatanuja Kinkaram Patitam Vishme Bhavam Buddha. That somehow or other I have fallen into this Bhavam Buddha, in this ocean of material world, material existence. What he is expecting? Of course, he is the Supreme Lord, but he is speaking in terms of a devotee. Kripya tav pad pankaj sthit dhuli sadrisha vijita. You please pick me up. I don't have any capabilities. You please pick me up and place at your lotus feet as one of the specks of dust. And this is where, when the Lord picks us up, when the Lord is placing us at his lotus feet, that is more powerful than the yogis, because yogis, what they try to do, they try to reach Brahm Jyoti based on their yogic perfections, based on their yogic strengths, whatever they have achieved. So how much we can achieve, how much we can attain? Nothing. And what can Krishna do? Everything. That's why Krishna loves us. He is Deenvatsa. Deen means was humble, surrendered. I have nothing, Krishna. You are my everything. Sharanagati, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet. You please do whatever you want to do with me. That is the mood that Krishna wants us to have. But at the same time, we develop some feelings for him in terms of either Sakhya Ras, Dasya Ras, or Vatsalya, or Madhurya Ras. That whatever we have, original rasa, original relationship, that will be developed. But the mood should be, Krishna, you please take me wherever you want to take me. And Krishna, out of his mercy, and he is unlimitedly powerful, so he can do whatever he wants, and whatever he does is the best for us. That's for sure. So this is what Sridhar Swami's mood is also the same. The attainment of spiritual perfection by different spiritualists is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, wherein the Lord says that he grants the perfection the devotee desires in proportion to the devotee's surrender unto him. So ye yatham mantra, he grants the perfection in proportion to the devotee's surrender. But actually, even this is not true. He gives us much more than whatever surrender can have, because this is his mercy. And just like Prabhupada explained once, that Srimati Radharani, she is so much more merciful than Krishna. And when she sees a devotee is serving Krishna to his whatever best possible capability, she recommends to Krishna that, oh, this devotee is very nicely serving, please give him shelter, please take him back. And Krishna, and of course, he cannot say no to Radharani. So his reciprocation is on a different level. The impersonalists are mostly jnanis. Yogis and enemies of the Lord enter into the Lord's transcendental effulgence. But the personalists who follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan or strictly follow the path of devotion service are elevated to the personal abode of Krishna, Golok Vrindavan, or to the Vaikuntha planets. The personalists, those who follow the personal feature of the Lord or relationship with the Lord. Relationship cannot happen if there are no two persons. So where do they go? They go to Krishna's Golok Vrindavan, or if somebody is attracted to Lord Ram, then he goes to Ayodhya, the Vaikuntha planet, Ayodhya. Both the impersonalists and the personalists enter the spiritual realm, the spiritual sky, But the impersonalists are given their place in the impersonal Brahman effulgence. So Brahman effulgence is impersonal. There is no sakar, roop over there. Whereas the personalists are given a position in the Vaikuntha planets or in the Vrindavan planet according to their desire to serve the Lord in different mellows. So that's how it is desired. It is decided who will go where. The personified Vedas is stated that the persons born after the creation of this material world cannot understand the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by manipulating their material knowledge. Just as a person born in a particular family cannot understand the position of his great-grandfather who lived before the birth of the recent generation, we are unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, or Krishna, who exists eternally in the spiritual world. So, on our own, we cannot understand. In the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that the Supreme Person who lives eternally in the spiritual kingdom of God, Sanatan Dham, can be approached only by devotional service. So, since we have taken birth in this material world after it has been created, so we cannot understand who the creator is and what's his purpose. Only by scriptures, obviously, Vedas, or the teachers or the gurus, we can understand by their mercy. But the Vedas say on their own, a person cannot understand. As for the material creation, Brahma is the first created person. Before Brahma, there was no living creature within this material world. It was void and dark until Brahma was born on the lotus flower that sprouted from the abdomen of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Garbhodaksha Vishnu is an expansion of Karanadaksha Vishnu. Karanadaksha Vishnu is an expansion of Sankarshan. Sankarshan is an expansion of Balaram, who is an immediate expansion of Lord Krishna. After the creation of Brahma, the two kinds of demigods were born. Demigods like the four brothers, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, who are representatives of renunciation of the world. And demigods like Marichi and their descendants, who are meant to enjoy this material world. From these two kinds of demigods were gradually manifested all other living entities, including the human beings. Thus, all living creatures within this material world, including Brahma, all the demigods and all the Rakshasas are to be considered are to be considered modern. Modern in the sense they were created after the material creation. This means that they were all born recently. Therefore, just as a person born recently in a family cannot understand the situation of his distant forefather, no one will, within this material world, can understand the position of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, because the material world has only recently, of course, it's been created a long time ago, but Prabhupada says, only recently been created. Although they have a long duration of existence, all the manifestations of the material world, namely the time element, the living entities, the Vedas, and the gross and subtle material elements, are created at some point. Thus, any process manufactured within this created situation as a means of understanding the original source of creation is to be considered modern. And also, it's not sufficient. So we cannot understand God by anything that is created within this material world. So we'll see how we can understand God tomorrow. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhuji, one Mataji said that Brahmakumaris also follow this concept that they are soul, they are not this body.
Mhm.
So but they are based on the Raj Yoga something, right?
Well, they are into meditation, yeah, but they meditate on that point of light. They think
Shunya.
that they say that is ultimate, and according to them, Shivji, they call Baba. Baba means Shivji for them. He is the ultimate, not Krishna. So again, Shunya or impulseless, that's what they are.
Okay, Prabhuji.
See, all the transcendentalists, they all come to this level that we are not this body, we are spirits. That's for sure. Without that, nobody can make progress spiritually. But then what? Where they want the soul to go? So Brahmakumaris, their destination is Brahm Jyoti. That's where they want to go. This is what they meditate on. So that's up to them.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
I
Thank you,
mean,
Prabhuji.
besides coming to this conclusion or following this conclusion of Brahmakumaris, rest everything is very nice over there.
Yes.
I mean, the lectures by Shivani Didi, if you listen to her, completely they bring you to the mode of goodness. And their practices, whether meditation or if you can go to their place in Mount Abu or in Gurgaon, they're a wonderful place, wonderful service attitude, no doubt about it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
But it's just the ultimate thing. That's where the difference is.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Anta. Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.